The BMW X5 E70. A luxury SUV that redefined what a premium German SUV could be. Bigger, more powerful, and packed with cutting-edge technology, it combined comfort, performance, and versatility like never before. From its bold Chris Bangle design to the revolutionary joystick gear selector, advanced xDrive system, and the mighty X5M, this generation set new standards in the SUV world. Today, we're taking a deep dive into everything that made the E70 unforgettable: the engines, the innovations, and even the challenges every owner should know. Buckle up, it's time to explore the BMW X5 E70. The BMW X5 E70, the second generation of BMW's iconic midsize SUV, entered production in 2006 and remained in production until 2013, representing a significant step forward in design, technology, and luxury for the X5 lineup. From the very beginning, the E70 projected a more confident and athletic presence than its predecessor, featuring cleaner, sharper lines, a wider stance, and a slightly longer wheelbase that translated into more interior space and improved driving dynamics. The model successfully blended the sporty DNA BMW is known for with the versatility expected from a premium SUV. The design of the E70 was led by Pierre Leclerc, who worked under the overall supervision of Chris Bangle, BMW's director of design at the time. Leclerc's approach emphasized a strong yet elegant silhouette, balancing aggressive front-end styling with refined, sculpted body panels. Every detail, from the hood contours to the rear proportions, was meticulously crafted to ensure that the X5 E70 was instantly recognizable on the road and retained the unmistakable BMW character. In 2009, BMW introduced a notable facelift that brought subtle but impactful changes. The exterior received a sharper, more modern appearance with updated headlights featuring optional adaptive xenon technology, a slightly larger and reshaped kidney grille, revised front and rear bumpers, and new taillight designs. Inside, the facelift brought higher quality materials, an updated and more intuitive iDrive system, and improved ergonomics, enhancing the feeling of luxury and refinement. The facelift also coincided with updates under the hood. Engines became more powerful and efficient, especially in the diesel range, incorporating BMW's latest technologies to reduce emissions while maintaining performance. The facelift E70 perfectly combined elegance, sportiness, and practicality, solidifying its reputation as one of the most desirable premium SUVs of its generation. The BMW X5 E70 was offered in two seating configurations, 5 seats as standard, and an optional 7-seat layout, providing versatility for families and driving enthusiasts. The 7-seat models included a third row suitable for children or occasional use. The interior was designed with a focus on ergonomics and luxury, featuring electrically adjustable seats, heating and ventilation options, and high-quality materials throughout. All E70 models came equipped with BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system. This permanent all-wheel drive system uses an electronically controlled clutch to distribute torque between the front and rear axles, ensuring optimal traction in a wide range of driving conditions. Unlike many other all-wheel drive systems, xDrive reacts quickly to changes in grip, providing enhanced stability and performance on both wet and slippery roads. The suspension setup combined front McPherson struts with a rear multi-link design. Models equipped with the air suspension featured air springs only on the rear axle, helping to maintain a consistent ride height regardless of load. This feature was typically available on higher-end or luxury variants. Wheel sizes varied depending on the trim and options, including 18, 19, and 20-inch wheels. For example, in 2006, the standard setup was two 55/55R18, with optional two 75/40R20 at the front and three 15/35R20 at the rear. Air suspension-equipped models also benefited from automatic ride height adjustment, adapting to both load and road conditions. Overall, the BMW X5 E70 offered a remarkable combination of comfort, performance, and versatility, making it a premium SUV admired for its technical capabilities and elegant design. The BMW X5 E70 offered one of the most impressive and diverse engine lineups in the luxury SUV world, ranging from refined six-cylinder units to powerful V8 and cutting-edge diesel power plants. Every engine was engineered to balance performance, efficiency, and smoothness, a true reflection of BMW's engineering philosophy. On the petrol side, the range began with the xDrive 30i, powered by a 3-liter inline-six producing 272 horsepower and 315 Newton-meters of torque. It could accelerate from 0 to 100 km per hour in around 8.1 seconds, offering the smooth, linear power delivery typical of BMW's naturally aspirated six cylinders. Next came the xDrive 48i, featuring a naturally aspirated 4.8-liter V8 delivering 355 horsepower and 475 Newton-meters of torque, cutting the 0 to 100 km per hour sprint down to 6.5 seconds. Later, BMW introduced the xDrive 50i, powered by a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 with 400 horsepower and 600 Newton-meters of torque, achieving 0 to 100 km per hour in just 5.5 seconds, impressive for a vehicle of its size and weight. The true performance star, however, was the BMW X5M, launched in 2009, the first ever M-Tune version of the X5. It housed the S63 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, delivering a staggering 555 horsepower and 680 Newton-meters of torque, enabling a 0 to 100 km per hour time of just 4.7 seconds. Power was managed through a 6-speed M-Sport automatic transmission and a specially tuned xDrive system that favored the rear wheels for a more dynamic driving experience. On the diesel side, the lineup was equally impressive. The xDrive 30D used a 3-liter turbocharged inline-six producing 235 horsepower and 520 Newton-meters of torque, reaching 0 to 100 km per hour in 8.3 seconds. The xDrive 35D, with its biturbo 3-liter inline-six, boosted output to 286 horsepower and 580 Newton-meters, cutting the 0 to 100 time to around 7 seconds. The facelift xDrive 40D, introduced in 2010, further refined this setup with 306 horsepower and 600 Newton-meters, bringing the 0 to 100 sprint down to 6.6 seconds. At the top of the diesel range sat the xDrive 50D, a technological marvel featuring a 3-liter tri-turbo inline-six that produced 381 horsepower and an astonishing 740 Newton-meters of torque, propelling the SUV from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 5.4 seconds, remarkable performance for a diesel-powered vehicle of its size. Most versions of the X5 E70 came with either a 6- or 8-speed automatic transmission, featuring BMW's Steptronic system. Unlike the more common Tiptronic system used by other manufacturers, which relies on preset shift programs, BMW's Steptronic allows smoother, faster, and more intelligent gear changes, adapting dynamically to driving style. It provides manual control through the gear lever or paddles, yet still maintains the comfort and refinement of a full automatic gearbox. All engines worked in perfect harmony with BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system, ensuring optimal traction and stability in every situation. Whether powered by a refined diesel or the ferocious twin-turbo V8 of the X5M, the E70 generation proved that a large SUV could deliver both luxury and true driving excitement, the very essence of BMW's ultimate driving machine. When BMW introduced the X5 E70, it marked more than a generational update. It was a turning point in how luxury SUVs were engineered and experienced. The second-generation X5 was built to merge the dynamics of a sports sedan with the comfort and versatility of a family SUV, packed with technology that would later define BMW's premium identity. A major innovation came with adaptive drive, an advanced chassis system combining active anti-roll stabilization with continuously adjustable dampers. This technology allowed the X5 to minimize body roll in corners without compromising ride comfort, making it one of the most composed SUVs of its era. The xDrive all-wheel drive system was also re-engineered. Unlike conventional reactive systems, xDrive anticipated wheel slip and proactively distributed torque between the axles. It could transfer almost all available power to either the front or rear wheels within milliseconds, offering precise traction and dynamic handling in any situation. BMW also introduced Dynamic Performance Control (DPC), a system that managed torque not just between the front and rear axles, but also between the left and right rear wheels. This innovation improved cornering agility and stability, giving the heavy X5 an impressively neutral balance through fast turns. For the first time, the X5 offered an optional third row of seats, expanding its practicality to 7 passengers. To maintain consistent comfort and ride height, BMW equipped many variants with air suspension on the rear axle only, ensuring automatic level control even under heavy load or when towing. Inside, the E70 represented a complete digital and ergonomic evolution. It debuted the new generation iDrive system with a high-resolution display and a far more intuitive menu structure. But the true centerpiece was the new electronic gear selector, a joystick-style control with illuminated indicators, one of BMW's most distinctive design innovations. It didn't move mechanically like traditional shifters, instead returning to center after each selection, communicating gear changes electronically. Some higher trims even featured this selector wrapped in premium leather, emphasizing the luxurious feel of the cockpit. While full leather dashboard and door trim became common in later generations like the F10-5 series, such extended leather upholstery was only available on the E70 through BMW individual packages, rare and highly customized options rather than standard equipment. Technologically, the E70 also brought major advancements in safety and driver assistance. Features such as adaptive headlights, head-up display, lane departure warning, and BMW night vision elevated the X5 into a true technological flagship. Infrared cameras could detect pedestrians and animals in the dark, while optional surround view cameras, parking sensors, and hill descent control made everyday driving both safer and easier. The facelift introduced in 2010 refined these innovations even further, with LED rear lights, updated iDrive software, new automatic transmissions, and more efficient turbocharged engines. Altogether, the BMW X5 E70 redefined what a luxury performance SUV could be, a machine where advanced engineering, intelligent systems, and modern design came together to create one of the most influential SUVs of the 2000s. Like most BMWs of its era, the X5 E70 combined brilliance with complexity, and that meant that when things went wrong, they could get expensive. It was a masterpiece of engineering, but one that demanded proper care and regular maintenance to stay that way. Starting with the diesel engines, the 3-liter inline-six was smooth and torquey but had its weak points. The EGR valve and cooler often suffered from carbon buildup, especially in city driving, leading to reduced performance or check engine warnings. Early versions also used swirl flaps inside the intake manifold, small metal plates meant to optimize airflow, but they could fail over time and, in rare cases, cause catastrophic engine damage. Many owners chose to remove them preemptively as a safety measure. The twin-turbo and tri-turbo diesel engines added more performance but also more complexity. Turbo actuators, vacuum lines, and boost control valves were common trouble spots as the miles added up. Oil leaks around the valve cover gasket, oil filter housing, and alternator bracket seal were also routine maintenance headaches, not unusual for BMW engines, but costly due to the labor involved. Petrol engines came with their own challenges. The 4.8i V8 N62 was powerful and refined but developed valve stem seal wear, causing oil consumption and smoky exhaust at startup. The later twin-turbo 4.4-litre N63 in the xDrive 50i and X5M brought immense performance but also heat-related issues. Timing chain stretch, oil leaks, and carbon buildup on intake valves were well-known problems. BMW later introduced technical updates, but long-term ownership of these engines still required commitment and a healthy budget. The automatic transmissions, especially the 6-speed ZF units, were fundamentally solid, but only if serviced regularly. BMW's so-called lifetime oils claim misled many owners into skipping fluid changes, which often resulted in harsh shifts or slipping at higher mileage. In reality, changing transmission oil and filters every 60,000 to 80,000 kilometers kept these gearboxes running smoothly. Suspension issues were another recurring topic. The rear air suspension, standard on many models, tended to develop leaks after years of use. The result, the rear of the car sagging overnight, a classic X5 symptom. The front control arms, bushings, and stabilizer links also wore out relatively quickly on rough roads, especially considering the vehicle's heavy weight and powerful engines. On the electrical side, the E70 was loaded with early generation technology, and that meant early generation quirks. iDrive system glitches, parking sensors that failed intermittently, electric tailgate motors, and door handle electronics were all common sources of frustration. Battery drain and faulty IBS, intelligent battery sensor, modules could also trigger warning messages seemingly at random. The cooling system, a familiar weak point on many BMWs, also wasn't immune. Water pumps and thermostats could fail prematurely, particularly on the petrol engines, leading to overheating if not caught in time. Even bodywork wasn't entirely flawless. Although well protected against rust, the tailgate edges and lower door seams could show corrosion on older cars that had seen harsh winters. In short, the BMW X5 E70 was, and still is, a brilliant machine, but one that doesn't tolerate neglect. Regular maintenance, quality fluids, and preventive repairs are essential. When properly cared for, it delivers an exceptional driving experience, but when ignored, it reminds you very quickly that it's a complex German luxury SUV. The BMW X5 E70 marked a turning point in the evolution of luxury SUVs. It was the generation that truly cemented BMW's reputation for building vehicles that didn't just move people, but connected them emotionally to the road. More than just a practical family car, it was a statement that performance, technology, and luxury could coexist in a single, commanding package. Compared to its predecessor, the E70 felt like a revolution. It was larger, more refined, and infinitely more advanced. The design was sharper and more modern, the driving experience more composed, and the cabin filled with innovations that would later spread across the entire BMW lineup, from adaptive drive and xDrive refinements to the new joystick gear selector and the reimagined iDrive system. Of course, like any ambitious piece of German engineering, it came with complexity. The X5 E70 demanded respect not only from the driver behind the wheel, but also from the mechanic underneath it. Maintenance was never cheap, and reliability could vary widely depending on how the car was treated. For some owners, it became a love story, for others, a costly lesson in premium ownership. Yet, despite its flaws, the E70 remains one of the most important SUVs of its era. It bridged the gap between the analog feel of early BMWs and the digital sophistication of the modern age. It offered the commanding presence of a luxury off-roader with the soul of a performance sedan, something very few vehicles have ever achieved. Even today, when you see one on the road, it still carries that unmistakable BMW attitude, confident, athletic, and just a bit rebellious. The X5 E70 wasn't perfect, but it was pure BMW. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the BMW X5 E70. A car that redefined what a luxury SUV could be, blending performance, technology, and presence in a way that still turns heads today. From its groundbreaking design to the innovations that set a new standard, the E70 reminds us why we fall in love with cars in the first place. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button and subscribe to stay tuned for the next chapter in automotive history, and until then, keep driving curiosity.